So a SIM swap involves you, your phone, and or your SIM card. It involves your accounts and your hackers and your emails. Wow, that's 5 big things. You, your phone, your SIM, your accounts, your emails, and a hacker. That's 6. So what happens? So a SIM swap occurs essentially when a hacker, a bad guy, whether they do it themselves or whether they bribe somebody on the inside, will take your phone number from the carrier side, and they'll each SIM card and or eSIM has an EID, right? Your phone has an EID, electronic ID, but each physical SIM card has a serial number on it. So what the bad guys will do is they'll take that serial number off of your SIM card, and it's all recorded inside T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. Your carrier knows your SIM card serial number. That's how they match. When you go to log on to like T-Mobile.com and you sign in, it'll show your account, your number, and then like what phone you're using. You're like, damn, how do they know what phone I'm using? That's how. Because your device has an ESN number, IMEI number, and they match that ESN number with the SIM card serial number, and they match them up. But that's also how the bad guys will go inside the system and they'll detach your SIM card from your phone, and they'll attach it electronically to the phone that they are using. So they have your phone number, right? So the bad guys got your phone number now. So what they do, try to get into your account, because your banking account, the main objective here is the bad guys want to steal money from you electronically through your phone. So what they do, they attach the SIM card to their phone electronically. So now they have your phone number. So what they do, they want to log into your banking accounts, right? Bank of America, right? So what do you do when you forget your password? You type in Bank of America, or you go on the Bank of America app, forgot password. So what does Bank of America do? They do one of 2 things. So they either email you a password reset, or they text message you they text message you a link to reset your password, or a PIN number to go in there and reset your password. Because remember, they want to get into your banking account. So they'll reset the password on their end because they have your phone number. And what they'll also do is try to reset the password to your email address. So as soon as they get the SIM swap to their phone, they'll do 2 things. They'll go to your email, say forgot password. They'll go to your Bank of America app, say forgot password, and gain access, right? So, and that's how they'll log in to the Chase app on there, or Bank of America app on their phone, and they can have access to your email and your phone number. So they get all the password resets. They can actually reset the password. They can actually lock you out of your Gmail account. Can also lock you out, reset your password for your Chase or your Bank of America app. And they can simply transfer money, simply drain your accounts. On Reddit, let's check out what I found on Reddit. So there are these are kind of unknown, right? So look at this. So this first one here, shows let's see. First one here says, I received an email. This is exactly how it happens, and we'll get into how to protect yourself, right? So this first one says, I got them lined up here. I received an email stating, thank you for your order. Now this involves iPhones and stealing somebody's identity to order a new iPhone. This person says, and this is in the AT&T thread. This person says, I just received an email stating, thank you for your order. I called them immediately. I then went to the store, and a representative said they had your ID. And this person says, I asked her what ID. She said, the AT&T rep said, my driver's license. I pulled out my driver's license in front of her and asked, how can this happen when I have a security code on my account? My phone was shut down, and they had to give me a new SIM card to turn it back on. I filed a claim 5 times, and it's been denied every time. How could this happen? I've been with the company for 10 years. Also called the police to the store the day of. They're also waiting for a report. I have spent days and hours on the phone with customer service. How has this happened to anyone? And the next person on the right side says, happened to me last year. This is a comment under the main post at Verizon. Took 4 months to sort it out and 7 calls and multiple emails to fraud resolution. Somebody opened a brand new account in Ohio in my name. I don't live anywhere close to Ohio. They got 3 new iPhones and a monthly plan. And I have an active credit freeze with all 3 credit agencies. Meanwhile, I want to open a mobile account. They need to do a credit check. So how is it possible somebody opened an account without help from store employees? Well, this is how they do it. And I'm going to get into how to protect yourself, but hang on. This is how they do it. So what they do is, so how do they get access to your SIM? How are they able to SIM swap, to essentially disconnect your SIM in your phone electronically and transfer your phone number to their phone, to the bad guy's phone? There's a multitude of ways, but traditionally, the old style, there's 3 ways. So one way is they hack into the T-Mobile servers and system and physically do the transfer themselves, the bad guys. The second way is they will bribe a store employee. So somebody here locally got arrested last year, made news, and I immediately read the article and I saw it. A hacker paid somebody $83,000 in cash, $83,000 in cash to do SIM swapping for them. So the store employee would go in and behind everybody's back, they would, the hacker would say, hey, I need you to change this number to this IMEI, to this phone. And they would do it for the person. They got caught. They got sent to jail, paid the store rep $83,000. Now, the third way, a little more devious, a little more intricate and long term. Third way is the hacker will actually apply for a job at T-Mobile, at at&t, at Verizon, and get hired on, go through the whole hiring process, drug test, background check, everything, assuming they have a decent background. They will get hired on to work in a store or in T-Mobile call centers that have access to this, and they will actually apply and get the job for the intent to SIM swap. Now, again, that takes a little more time, a little more intricate, and that has happened to all 3 major carriers. That's what the carriers call bad actors. If you see that quote-unquote bad actor, that's what that means. They're acting to be an employee, but they're actually a hacker, a SIM swapper. And it's very easy. Very easy. Now, it's completely random. Of course, they target people, typically people that are known to have large amounts of liquid assets, meaning large bank accounts, large crypto accounts. They've been known to drain crypto accounts, transfer it all out. It happens to everybody. The rich people get targeted, the politicians get targeted, the celebrities get targeted, the CEOs get targeted, but it also happens to random people. And I just showed you 2 examples of people from Reddit that it just happened to. And look, it's just the pig of the litter, right? It's a needle in a haystack. You could be the unlucky person 2 years from now, 2 days from now. You don't know. But this is what you do to protect your account so this doesn't happen. So the harder you make it for a SIM swap to occur, assuming you're an average person like you and I, and assuming you're not a CEO of a big company, Fortune 500 company, or a celebrity or an athlete, there's a couple things you can do, right? So the first thing you want to do is, how do they get into your account? Well, let's connect to the dots. So the hackers, the SIM swappers, get in by transferring your phone number from your carrier phone number to their phone, right? So you need to cut the link there between a phone number and your account, right? So the first thing you do, you can do all the little things like go into Google security, and I think Apple is the same way. You need to review your security settings. So if you have a Gmail account, go to settings. You can do this from your phone. You can do this from a laptop. You can do this from a tablet. So go to Gmail, right? Click on your icon, click on Google account, slide over to security, and then scroll down. You want to make sure two-step verification is on. You want to make sure you get a security code, right? Pass keys and security keys. Get a physical security key. A physical security key is like the Google Titan USB security key. You cannot sign into your account unless you plug that security key into your phone or your computer. Here's the major thing you want to do. Do all of these. Go down the list. Secure your account. These are all important. Don't get me wrong. The most important thing, recovery phone. So these SIM swappers remember, they need to get into your email, and they need to, and assuming they may already have access to your email, they need to get into your banking apps or your crypto apps, right? So here's what you do. So if these hackers get in through the phone number, swapping your SIM to their phone, what you want to do is not use a carrier phone number. So, well, a carrier phone number, well, how do I not use a carrier phone number as a recovery email or a recovery phone? Here's what you do. Get a Google Voice number. So Google issues, it's a VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. It's a phone number that's not based from a T-Mobile. It's not based from a carrier. It's not based from at&t. Get a Google Voice number. Download the Google Voice app on iOS or Android and tie it to an email that's not associated with your banking app or your crypto app. So if you do abc123@gmail.com for Bank of America and Kraken crypto, don't do your recovery email address for those for Bank of America or Kraken ABC123. Do XYZ234@gmail. You want to cut as many ties, cut the links. So your recovery email is not the same email meaning you have to sign into a whole nother email if you do need to reset your password. And they cannot, at least, look, maybe they can, I have no idea. But the difficulty SIM swapping a Google Voice number, probably much, much harder than SIM swapping a carrier phone number. And remember, don't link, my phone's going off. Make your recovery phone number that Google Voice number, but make the Google Voice number you create a different email than the email that you sign into your Bank of America or crypto apps. Does that make sense? You want to cut all the ties, cut the links. But the most important thing, get a Google Voice number, use that as your recovery, right? You want to use that as your recovery email. Now, if this does happen, what can you do? So SIM swapping is on the rise. So look at this. Complaints and losses over the last 5 years with SIM swaps. Look at the years. So from 2018 on the top to 2022. Now, it doesn't have 23 or 2000. Well, obviously not done with 2024, but you can only imagine it just continues to rise with every year that goes on. So 2018, and then look it down at 2022. The number of complaints are on the rise, and the number of losses, the amount of losses is over $10 billion just in 2022 alone. And a total of almost $30 billion totally from, now these are assets, liquid assets that are simply transferred out of the accounts without you knowing while you're asleep. So how do you know if you've immediately been SIM swapped? Well, like that person said on that on this graphic, right? Well, I got an email saying thank you for your order. Well, obviously you know something's not right. Or out of the blue, your data stops working and you can't make any calls. Now, assuming you're not behind on your payments, on your bills, on your T-Mobile bill, your AT&T bill, because obviously if you're behind and you hadn't paid your bill, of course they're going to cut your line. But if you're on auto pay or you always pay on time and you know you don't run the risk of them cutting service, that's the number one thing. So I've heard a lot of people say, oh, their story about SIM swap. They got SIM swapped. First thing they noticed is no data. Then I couldn't make a call, couldn't send a text. Well, obviously your service line was cut. Now that's the first indication that a SIM swapper transferred your phone number to their phone, right? So immediately, if you have a cut service, and assuming you're in the city, you're not out in the country, because if you're out in the middle of nowhere in West Texas, and then I don't have any data, I can't make any calls. Well, it's probably because you're far away from a tower. But if you're in the city under normal circumstances, can't make any calls, no data, you want to immediately double check your accounts. Immediately call, try to get a hold of, get Wi-Fi, some kind of network. Immediately call your service provider and ask them, has my number been transferred out? Because this person was saying they had a PIN set up and everything. But here's the thing. These bad guys, these hackers, make fake IDs, right? Or they can make carbon copies of your ID. So they go into an AT&T store, buy a bunch of phones, right? And they're not buying phones to use phones. They're buying phones and selling them for cash real quick because they know everything's tied together. There's a paper trail that would lead back to them. Now, you can also get a company like Efani. E-F-A-N-I. Efani is a service provider like AT&T, like a T-Mobile, that promises you no SIM swaps. They've never had a SIM swap, and you get a guarantee. It's a little more expensive per month. I think its plans start at $99. But they guarantee you no SIM swap attacks while you're a customer. And if you do get SIM card swapped, there's a $5 million insurance policy. So you can go out and get a Efani. You need to change your recovery email and your recovery phone number to your banking apps and to your crypto apps to an email, to a different email, a burner email that you hold on tight to. Create an email just for that. And then you need to your recovery phone number for your banking apps, for your crypto apps, need to be a VoIP number, a Google Voice number, a number not originating from a carrier, because that's how this is happening. Now, if you do get SIM swapped, I do have a couple of numbers here you can call, right? So let me show you this. So the FBI has been tracking all of this, and they can only do so much. So if you do, I'm going to put this link in the description box below. Internet Crime Complaint Center. This is an extension of the FBI. The FBI created and they call it the IC3 because it's Internet, and then Crime Complaint Center. So there's 3 C's, get it? IC3. They created this IC3 division, I think a couple of years ago, because this was getting so and it still is, getting out of hand. Created a division within the Federal Bureau of Investigations just to handle these crimes and go after these bad guys. But if this does happen to you, and fingers crossed, I hope this never happens to anybody, got to file a complaint. You go right here. You file a complaint. You fill out all the information, as much information as possible, and then you have some other types of crimes. SIM swapping is definitely in here, but you can get annual reports, fraud reports, cryptocurrency reports, a whole bunch of links here that I will put in the description box. Big issue. Now, what I did the other day, as I mentioned, I went back, super secured all my accounts. I did the VoIP number as a recovery. I did a separate email as a recovery. I have 2 physical Google Titan security keys that I use to sign into your account. And those are nice because if somebody does try to sign into your email account, you have to have this physical key, plug it into your device that you're trying to sign in on. And if that physical key is not plugged into your phone or your laptop you're trying to sign into your Gmail account on, it won't let you sign in. So a bad guy on the other side of the world can't hack into your account without having that physical key. I've made a couple of videos on and reviews on those devices. Maybe I'll link as well. A very big issue, and man, I hope this never happens to anybody because it happens quick. I mean, within 15 minutes, they can essentially drain everything. And look, even if you don't have your accounts and everything secured 100%, these hackers are trying to get in and get out as quickly as possible. So even if you're like not 100% sealed and impenetrable, even if you're like 90%, these hackers are not going to spend a lot of time. Let's say they have you in their crosshairs, and it's just randomly, right? They don't know you between you and a NFL player on the TV, right? All they know of you is a name, email, number. The harder you make it for them to get into your accounts, the more likely they are to just say, screw it, and they're going to move on to the next set of name, numbers, and email, right? And throw you to the side because you're making it that extra hard. Typically, these guys can get in and get out with all your accounts drained within 15 minutes. That's all it takes. 15 minutes. So that'll do it for the day. I gotta run. Join me tomorrow. We'll catch up on some more tech news and may hit this topic again. If I did miss anything, please let me know, right? If you got any extra tips that can help, please let me know. Thank you very much, eSIM Studios. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.